All right, guys. So foundation to accounts part two. In the part one, we had discussed about the income statement, balance sheet, and the cash flow. We discussed income statement in detail. We discussed balance sheet ka both side, and we discussed how they balance out each other. We haven't discussed the cash flow statement as of now. Uh, and we just had stopped at a point where we saw that the retained earning were increasing because of the a part of net income which was being kept in the company for the growth of the company. So for the growth of the company, there would be more requirement of machine, raw materials, etc. And hence for that machine and raw materials, company need money. And for that, the part of a profit that is company earns would be kept in the company for buying the machines and the raw material. With more machines and raw material, the production will grow. With growing production, the sales will grow, profit will grow, and hence the dividend will continue to grow. So that's how the link is. So for that, a part of the profit is retained in the company. Okay, so that part of the profit which is written in the company, that part of the profit which is written in the company belongs to shareholders. And in जो shareholder के shareholder के column में, the equity case में, the retained earning that will increase because of that part of the profit which is written in the company. Apart from that, there was a share capital which increases when the new shares are issued and which reduces when the shares are bought back. Okay. So what I'll do is I will start with a fresh example with a balance sheet, and then I will take a income statement similar to what we had discussed yesterday. So it will take around 15-20 minutes. That will be a good recap also. And frankly, I'm not able to recollect the values that we discussed on the Sunday's lecture. So that's the reason I'm going to take a fresh example, frankly, but it will help you to get a revision also. So let me start with the balance sheet. Okay, so balance sheet has two sides. One would be the investment side, which is called as asset, and that consists of two parts. One is short-term asset, which are also called as current asset, and then long-term asset, which are also called as long-lived asset, या non-current asset, या fixed asset. We had also discussed why these are called as fixed asset and why these are called as working asset. I hope you are able to recollect the reason. Can someone just raise hand and tell me the reason why they are working asset and these niche wala are fixed asset? Anyone? We had discussed about it. I give an example of a company के प्लांट के अंदर का कुछ एग्जांपल मैंने दिया था ये जितिन.
So if I'm talking about fixed assets right now, basically these are the ones which are machines which are not movable, land which is not movable, or the company where it is located, it's not movable. So those things are fixed assets.
And working asset, I mean working as Maria God is working.
So working assets are the one which are probably the materials which are being processed. So when you gave an example of Parle G, wherein sugar is processed, you have other things which are processed. So
Good.
those things.
Good.
Yeah.
So basically, if you visit any plant, the machines are fixed at one place. So machines are called as your fixed asset, as well as land, plant, building are fixed at one place. You can move a land from one place to another place. You can move a plant from one place to another place. Building, you can move it from one place to another place. So these are fixed at one place. Whereas the raw material works across its way from one machine to another machine on something called as conveyor belt. So that's in raw material was called as the working asset, also called as current asset. Why current? Because it can be used only in the current year because of its perishability. It perishes, it does not have a long expiry date, and as a reason, it needs to be used in the current year only. So I think last time I had taken a 10,000 of assets. So this time let me just take it as 20,000 of assets. Okay. And on the other side, you will get to know कि ये 20,000 company ने arrange कैसे किया. So on the one side, you get to know कि 20,000 company ने invest कहाँ पे किया है, and on the other side, you get to know company ने 20,000 arrange कहाँ से किया है. Two ways of arranging the money. One is loan which you are liable to repay, and second one is money taken from equity investor, which will get voting rights. This loan would be consisting of two parts: short-term loan and long-term loan. If you are in a position to pay short-term liabilities or short-term loan as and when you're due, as and when it is due, Ajinkya, you are said to be. Those who are able to recollect this word, raise hand, please. Ajinkya, please unmute yourself and tell me the answer. In case you are able to pay the short-term liabilities as and when they are due, you are
in default. You are in liquid.
if you are able to pay the short-term liabilities as and when they are due, you are
liquid.
wonderful. And if you are able to pay the long-term liabilities when they are due, you are considered to be a solvent guy. And I gave an example of 4 situations in the practical life where either could be your liquid solvent, liquid insolvent, illiquid but solvent, illiquid and insolvent. Okay, so these were the loans, and let me take the loans this time as, let's say, 12,000. So the equity would be 8,000. And equity consists of share capital, which is the money taken from the shareholders. And second one is the retained earnings. Just a second. So retained earning is nothing but the profit of all the past years which company has not paid out as dividend, and company has retained that profit in the company. So that with that retained profit, company can buy new machines, company can buy new raw materials, and with those new machines and new raw materials, company's production could be increased, sales could be increased, profit could be increased. So that's the reason of that retained earning, which is all the past profit which has not been paid out as dividend, all the past profit which has been retained in the company. Okay, so this would be 8,000. So right now, let me assume that company has just started. Okay, so share capital is 8,000 and retained earning is 0 because company has just started. So there is no past profit. Okay, so if company would have been there for 10 years, then 10 years ka past retained profit would be retained earning. If company would have started 5 years back, then 5 saal ka profit which company has retained, that would be retained earning. But in my example, the company has just started, so there is nothing about the past of the company to retain the profit. So it's 0. Okay, so 20,000 is equal to 12,000 plus 8,000. This is the balance sheet. Okay, then we discuss the income statement. So sales, then comes, okay, can someone tell me? Can someone tell me? Just raise hand and tell me all the entries here. Varad, go on.
COGS, cost of goods sold.
And what happens to the cost of goods unsold?
Sir, you haven't yet told about
yes, good. Okay, yeah. Then this profit is called as?
operating profit.
No. It's called as gross profit.
Gross profit. Sorry.
Okay, from that you subtract something.
Subtract expenses. The admin expenses and
Selling general admin expenses.
yeah, SG
Also called as your dash cost.
Yeah.
Dash cost.
Operating cost.
Fixed cost.
Non-operating cost.
Fixed cost.
Fixed cost.
To get what profit?
Net profit.
No. Operating profit. And from operating profit, you subtract something which I didn't tell you, and still you get operating profit after that. And what do you subtract later on, Aditya?
Interest.
Okay, good. Varad, go on. Interest. Aditya, you can continue, or Varad, you can continue. One of you.
Tax.
Profit before tax. Sorry, before that, profit before
tax.
Then minus
tax.
To get profit after tax, which is also called as? Also called as? Preetha, what is also called as?
So PAT.
Yeah, PAT is also called as?
Sorry, sir, I have not returned it.
Net income or net profit. It's also called as net income or net profit. Okay. Okay. I would want some of you to give me those values. Right? So rather than taking I just changed my mind. Rather than taking a complete example, can some of you raise and just tell me the values? कि जो हमने discuss किया था. Yes, Saptarshi. I think I had mentioned that we are going to manufacture 1,000 biscuits, right?
Yeah, we are going to manufacture 1,000 biscuits, out of which 800 were sold biscuits, 200 were unsold.
Okay, so
cost of each biscuit was.
Ek second, Saptarshi. Okay, out of 1,000 biscuits manufactured, 200 would be unsold.
Correct, and 800 biscuits were sold.
Okay, 800 were sold, and selling price was, I believe, $10.
Selling price was $10, and cost price was $4.
Cost was $4. Okay, and here also the cost would be $4, but here selling price cannot be known because they are unsold. fixed cost, that is SGA, was how much?
SGA was 1000.
Okay. And okay, this time, so the loan has changed. So this time the interest will change. I think so. That's it. And what is the tax rate that I had considered? 30%?
40%.
40%. All right. Thank you, Saptarshi. Okay. So let me do it one more time. So 800 biscuits has been sold at $10 each. So with that, the sales would be 800 into 10, 8,000. Okay. Cost of goods sold. Again, 800 biscuits has been sold at a cost of $4. So the cost of goods sold would be $3,200. Cost of unsold good, we have incurred that cost, but we are not recording that in the income statement. Can someone tell me the reason why cost of unsold goods is not being recognized in the income statement? Yes, Dave.
Sir, unsold goods will be counted on the asset side of current assets.
Yeah, but why so? I mean, why? What's wrong with including them in the income statement?
Because we have not earned that yet. Because we have not sold, and so there are no earnings for that.
Okay, I'll just make it more correct. You're right. To calculate the profit, you need selling price minus cost. So over here, you only know the cost. You don't know the selling price, so you can't calculate the profit. And hence, if selling price not available, you will not consider cost also, because for profit or loss, you need selling price minus cost. So cost is there, but selling price is not there, so we'll not consider them for the calculation of profit. But we'll consider them somewhere, which he was just mentioning right now. But I'll talk about that later on, because I have not spoken about it. Where to consider that $800 का cost. ये जो cost incur हुआ है, where we consider that, we'll discuss that later on. So the first figure of profit that we got was this one, which is 4,800. From that, we'll subtract the SGA cost, which Saptarshi told me about was $1,000. With that, we'll get the operating profit of $3,800. That mystery thing right now, I'm leaving it. Still, it becomes $3,800. And now I think interest amount will change, because I think last time वो loan था 8,000 का consider किया था, but this time I'm considering loan of 12,000. I'm sorry, I'm considering the loan of 12,000, and let me consider interest rate of let's say 10%. So 10% of 12,000 would be 1,200. So with that, the profit before tax would be 2,600. Okay, I repeat, 12,000 ka interest rate 10%. So 12,000 ka 10% would be 1,200. So with that, the profit before tax would be 2,600. Then 40% would be taken by government, and you'll be left with 60%. So 2,600 ka 60%. 2,600 ka 60% would be your profit, which is 1,560. That's your net profit. Okay. Now from this 1,560 profit, a part of that would be taken as dividend, or would be paid out as dividend, and remaining part would be retained in the company. So let's say dividend payout ratio is 30%. Let me see, 1,560 ka 30% is how much? So 1,560 ka 30% would be paid out as dividend, and 70% would be retained in the company. So that comes to 468. Let me round off to 460. Okay, I'm just rounding out to 460. Okay, so 1,560 में से 460 would be paid out as dividend, and the remaining 1,160 would be retained in the company. Okay, so this is where we had stopped. No, actually, this is not where we had stopped. We had mentioned that because of this 1,160 belonging to shareholders, because is the profit of the shareholders only, because company belongs to shareholders, तो कंपनी का जो प्रॉफिट है वो शेयर होल्डर्स का प्रॉफिट है. इतना वो डिविडेंड से ले रहे, बाकी कंपनी में रख रहे हैं, but that belongs to shareholders. So this 1,160 would be resulting into retained earning going up. So this retained earning will be going up by this 1,160. So let me just write, retained earning would be going up by this 1,160. And this is where we had stopped. I hope you are able to recollect that. 1,100. Okay, I'm so sorry. 1,100. My mistake. Sorry. 1,560 minus 460 would be 1,100. My mistake. Simple, silly mistake. I'm so sorry. Be 1,100. 1,560 minus 460 would be 1,100. So return earning will increase by 1,100. And because of that, you look at the equity. Equity would be 8,000 plus 1,100. So equity will also increase by 1,100. So now the balance sheet is not balancing. So we'll see what is required to balance the balance sheet. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete all this thing on the asset side. I'm just going to write something on the asset side. So what I'm going to write over here is I'm just going to give you a very brief breakup of this assets of 20,000. I'm just going to be a very brief breakup of this assets of 20,000. So what I'm going to give you is there is a cash and then there are all other assets. Okay, so there's a cash and there are all other assets. Now let's see what is going to happen to the cash. So पहले देखते कि cash कितना था. So I'm just going to give you an assumption कि पहले cash कितना था. So let's say पहले there was a cash of 1460, and then the remaining would be 20,000 minus 1460 because total assets are 20,000. I'm just giving you a breakup of that कि cash was 1460. By the way, cash मतलब ये नहीं कि मतलब hard cash. It could be money in the current account, saving account. That would be also called as cash. But accounting textbooks call that cash as cash equivalent. So the currency notes that you have is called as cash, and the money that you have in the saving account or current account is called as cash equivalent. But over here, to keep it simple, I'll call everything, the money, current account, saving account, and the currency notes, all I'm calling it as a cash only. So cash is 1460 and total assets were 20,000. So the other assets would be 20,000 minus 1460. So let me see how much that would be. So total assets were 20,000 minus 1460. So that's 18,540. Okay, so 18,540 were the other assets. Total is still coming to 20,000. Now what is happening is company is paying a dividend of 460 to its shareholders. And as company is paying a dividend of 460 to its shareholder, the cash of the company is going to go down by this 460. So before writing the total cash position going down over there, I'm just going to write over here. The cash is going to be going down by 460 for dividend. Now, why didn't I decrease cash by 460 directly over there? Because there are multiple things because of which the cash is going to go down. This is just one thing because of which the cash is going to go down. So dividend that we are paying. But there are other things because of which the cash is also going to go down. The first thing because of which the cash is going to go down, I mean the first other thing because of which the cash is going to go down is the cost of this unsold goods. The 200 into $4, the cost of this unsold goods, we have to pay that. So the company ka cash is going to go down by 200 into 4, $800. So the cash of the company would be going down by the cost of unsold goods. It's not recognized in the income statement, I agree, but still we have to pay for it. So the cash of the company will be going down by 200 into 4, $800 for cost of unsold goods. Okay, they were not there in the income statement. I'm just writing income statement and putting a cross across it. They were not in the income statement. Apart from that, the cash of the company will be going down by this 3,200, which is the cost of the goods sold. Okay, because it's recognized in the income statement, fine, but still we have to pay cash for it. Profit statement of the recognized kar diya, but finally you have to pay cash for it. So the cash will be reduced by 3,200 for the cost of goods sold. This was there in the income statement. All right. Apart from that, there will be cost required to be paid for this fixed cost, that is the selling, general, advertising. So over there, the cash will go down by 1,000. Next, the cash will go down for interest, 1,200. This was for SGA, and then this was for interest. And then cash will also go down for the tax payment, which was 2,600 ka 40%. 2,600 into 40%. So that is 1,040. So basically, I just circle the things for which the cash is going to go down. The cash is going to go down for the cost of goods sold, SGA, interest. ये जो tax का figure है 1,040. cash is going to go down for the dividend payment, as well as the cash will go down for the cost of unsold goods. Okay. और एक चीज है जिसके लिए कैश विल गो डाउन, जो हमने कंसिडर किया था आज के लेक्चर में, मैंने उस पॉइंट को रिवाइज नहीं किया. But there's one more thing for which the cash will go down. You have to pay cash for one more thing. Can you guess what we have considered? There will be a cash payment for cost of goods sold. There will be a cash payment for cost of goods unsold. There will be a cash payment for SGA, selling general admin. There would be a cash payment for interest, tax, dividend. और एक चीज है जो हमने कंसिडर की थी लास्ट लेक्चर में, आज while revising I didn't consider that. So anyone just raise hand? Not about the mystery expense. Mystery expense is a non-cash expense. It's not about the mystery expense. We had considered that. Can someone recollect it? Yes, Anjali.
Employee salary?
No, that was the part of your SGA or COGS. That was already considered. So COGS या SGA में वो part आ गया. Like white collared employees who sits in the office, उनका जो cost है, salary cost है, that will be a part of SGA, general admin. And
Okay.
blue collared employees है, जो laborers है, उनका cost will be a part of COGS, labor cost.
Okay.
Alright, yes Ashita, sorry, yes Ashita.
Repayment of the principal amount.
Wonderful. The principal payment, the loan that we have taken, uska principal that we have to pay was considered in the last lecture, but while revising today, I didn't consider that. So we had taken a loan of 12,000. This is a loan that we have taken 12,000. So let's assume that this loan of 12,000 is to be paid in 12 years, each year 1,000. So 12 years ke liye 1,000 into 12, that would be 12,000. So this is how it has to be paid. So this year we have to pay 1,000, and next 11 years we have to pay 1,000 each. But we are not worried about the next 11 years. We are worried about the current year. So again the cash will be going down for a payment of 1,000 for a principal. And again over here I'm going to write it's not considered in income statement. इसका कोई मुझे रीजन बता पाएगा? ये जो हमने डिस्कस किया था कि why principal payment is not considered in the income statement. Can someone tell me why this? ये तो समझा cost of unsold goods. Varad had explained this why cost of unsold goods is not considered in the income statement. Can some of you recollect and tell me why principal payment is not considered in the income statement? We had spoken in detail about it. Yes, Vignesh.
So it's because it's our money. Means like you are given the example of pen in the last lecture. So it's our money only. The principal is our money. So we don't have to repay it. Means.
Come again.
So I can explain with the help of example. Can
Okay.
I?
What are we calculating? The figure of in the income statement, what are we calculating?
So we take only interest, not
No,
principal.
no, no. I'm saying what are we calculating? What is the other name of income statement? What is the other name of income statement? If income is positive, what is it called as? Okay, Vignesh, what is the positive income would be called as? Profit. Vignesh, are you there? Vignesh, are you there? So basically the other name to the income statement is called as profit and loss. You're trying to calculate profit, and for calculating profit, we need a cost, and principal payment is not a cost. Principal is what you had borrowed, and that is what you are repaying. So if I borrow this pen, repayment of this pen is not a cost. I am obviously obliged कि ये जो pen मेरा नहीं है, I have borrowed it from someone, I have to return it. So returning of principal, the principal payment is not a cost. Anything rent that is being charged when you are borrowing a pen, the lender could charge you a rent. But when you're borrowing a money, the lender will charge you interest. That rent or that interest is a cost. All right. So now let's sum up the total cash payments. Let's sum up the total cash payments. So finally, the cash is going to go down by how much? Let's see. What is the total cash payments? Okay, let's sum up this. The total cash payments. 460 plus 800 plus 3,200. I'm sorry, I lost it. 460 plus 800 plus 3,200 plus 1,000 plus 1200 plus 1040. What was it for? Tax. Okay. And then plus 1000 for the principal. So 8700 is the total cash payments. Okay. And there would be some cash receipts also. So you'll be receiving cash also because you are selling the products to the customer. You are selling 800 products to the customers. Okay, you're selling 800 products to the customer, and to each customer, you're charging a price of $10. So you're selling 800 products to the customers and you're charging a price of $10. So the total cash that you will be receiving would be 800 into 10, 8,000. Okay, you will be receiving $8,000. So with this, the total cash of the company is going to go down because you're receiving 8,000, but you are paying 8,700. I repeat, because you are receiving 8,000 and you are paying 8,700, the cash of the company is going to go down by 700. And this is the exact example I was talking about, that there is a profitable company which might be a loser of cash. This is the exact example of that company, which is a profitable company, but loser of cash. Why it's a loser of cash is because it's just getting a $8,000 but paying $8,700, so it's losing $700 of cash. Why is it a profitable company? Because it has profit. Look at it, it has a profit of 1560. Okay, so let's try to work out कि ये profit 1560 था, तो वो cash generate क्यों नहीं हुआ 1560 का? Let's try to figure it out. अगर company का profit 1560 था, so why there was not a cash generation of 1560? Why there was a cash loss of 700? What led to a cash loss of 700? Let's try to work it out. So number one thing, in the figure of profit, what was not considered? First, cost of unsold goods was not considered. How much was it? 200 products were not sold and uska cost tha 200 into 4, $800. तो 800 का कॉस्ट हमने कंसिडर नहीं किया था in the calculation of profit. So let me subtract that cost. Okay, so I subtracted that cost. Next, principal payment, we had not considered that because it's not a cost, and as in we didn't consider that, which was $1,000. So let me subtract that $1,000. And दूसरा, I mean तीसरा, ये जो profit था 1560 यहाँ पे था, उसके बाद ये जो डिविडेंड पे किया है वो प्रॉफिट के फिगर में नहीं है, उस प्रॉफिट के बाद है. तो दैट डिविडेंड पेमेंट वुड बी सब्ट्रैक्टेड, व्हिच इज 460, एंड लेट्स सी वेदर वी गेट कैश लॉस दैट इज -700 or not. Let's confirm it. If you're getting it, then you're right. 1560 minus 800. 1560 minus 800. This is the cost of unsold goods which we are not considered. Minus 1000, this is the principal payment which were not considered, and minus 460, which is dividend, which comes after profit. So yes, we are getting minus 700, which is exactly coming out to the figure of cash loss. So here were the three reasons why a profitable company was not able to generate cash. It's not class, by the way, it's cash loss. Why it was not able to generate cash? Why it was having the cash loss? Because of cost of unsold goods, principal payment, and the dividend payment. Because of that, the cash was not generated, although company was profitable. Okay, so जो मैंने cash लिया था वो थोड़ा सा मुझे okay, I'll keep it 1460, there's no problem. तो जो 1460 cash जो है उसमें से there would be $700 reduction because company has lost cash of 700. So it will be $700 reduction. So I'll go back. And ये जो cash है, उस cash में से I'm gonna reduce $700. I'm gonna reduce the $700. So I have made two adjustments. One was, this is again, let me just change the highlighter color. One was this one, because of its equity cost increased by 1100, and second one is this. Okay, these are the two adjustments that I have done till now. Okay, apart from that, now you need to understand कि जो loan था कितने का था? 12,000 का loan था. This time what did you do? You paid 1,000. The loan that you had taken from a bank was 12,000, which was supposed to be paid in 12 yearly installments of 1,000 each. Out of that, 1,000 was paid in the current year. So the loan outstanding would be 12,000 minus 1,000, 11,000. So that's the third change that we'll have to make. The loan that you had considered over here was 12,000. It's no more going to be 12,000. The loan is going to go down by 1,000, and hence this is now going to go down by 1,000. So that's the third thing that I just made the change. Okay. और एक चीज है, and that is about, let's look at the payments. ये जो payments है उसमें बाकी सारे पेमेंट हमने कंसिडर किए थे, बट ये वाला जो पेमेंट है वो जो इनकम स्टेटमेंट में नहीं था, एंड ये जो प्रिंसिपल पेमेंट है जो इनकम स्टेटमेंट में नहीं था उसको हमने इफेक्ट दिया नहीं है. टू बी स्पेसिफिक, हमने इसको अभी जस्ट इफेक्ट दिया मतलब इसका वी कंसिडर्ड इन द बैलेंस शीट. The 1,000 paid for the principal, we reduced that from the loan outside. So truly, it was not considered in income statement, but we considered that in the balance sheet. So let me just mention, the principal payment was considered directly in the balance sheet by reducing the loan. The loan got reduced. And now comes the point related to this 800, which is not being put in the income statement. These are your unsold biscuits. These unsold biscuits can be sold in the next year. This year you produced 1,000 biscuits, out of which you sold 800 biscuits. Fine. So 200 biscuits are unsold. This you can sell it in the next year. And by selling them in the next year, you will be able to make profit. So basically this 200 biscuits is your investment. Per biscuit, you have invested a cost of 4. So for 200 biscuits, you have invested a cost of 800. उस बिस्किट में आपने 800 रुपया इन्वेस्ट किया. By making that biscuit, you have invested 4 rupees in each biscuit, and in 200 biscuits, you have invested $800. So that $800 is your investment, which is in simple terms called as inventory. Unsold biscuits is nothing but inventory, and inventory is your investment because you have invested $800 in making of that inventory. So in investment side, we will have to show that inventory. So on the asset side, that is investment side, I'll be showing that inventory, which is nothing but unsold goods. Unsold goods, which will go up by $800. Okay, so rest everything has been taken care of. So now let's look at the 4 changes one more time. The first one was retained earning going up by $1,100. How did we get it? Profit था 1560 का, उसमें से dividend pay किया 460 का. So $1,100 का profit retain किया, and that's the reason the retained earning was increasing by 1,100. Retained earning is a part of equity, so equity will increase by 1,100. That was a part 1. Part 2, we calculated the cash receipt and the cash payment. We spent a lot of time on that. Cash paid was for this dividend, this COGS, the cost of unsold goods, SGA, interest, tax, and principal payment. The total cash paid was coming to 8,700, and the total cash received was 8,000. So together there was a cash loss of 700, and because of that cash loss of 700, we reduced the cash by 700 over here. That was part 2. Okay, part 3 was about the loan. Because we had taken a loan of 12,000 and we paid $1,000, so the loan is going down by $1,000. And the last part was about the unsold biscuits. 200 biscuits were unsold, और हर एक बिस्किट का cost था $4. So 200 into 4, $800 was invested in those unsold biscuits. Investments में I had shown it as inventory, which is going up by $800. So now let's sum up the total assets. They were 20,000 earlier. Let me take the calculator. They were 20,000 earlier. From 20,000, cash has gone down by 700. So let me reduce 700. So minus 700. All right. All other assets में कोई change नहीं हुआ है. So unchanged. And inventory has gone up by 800. Okay. So inventory has gone up by 800. So plus 800. So the revised value of assets now is 20,100. So I'll just put a cross over there and I'll just write the revised value of asset is 20,100. Okay, so let's come to the revised value of liability. The liability has gone down by 12,000. So the revised value of liability will not be 12,000. The revised value of liability would be 11,000. And the revised value of equity would be 8,000 plus 1,100, which is 9,100. Okay, 8,000 plus 1,100 will be 9,100. And let's see whether the equation is matching. 20,100 of assets is equal to liability of 11,000 plus equity of 9,100. Yes, the equation seems to match. That means we haven't missed out anything. When this kind of thing comes out, the commerce students get very, very happy. So, I mean, whenever you see a commerce student balancing a balance sheet, he gets a very smile on his face. So if you got that smile, probably you're a little bit now getting inclined towards the commerce side. But truly, we have not looked at anything in the accounting. We have simply looked at the direct final logical elements to it. We didn't cover 3 golden rules of accounts. We didn't cover the journal entries. We didn't cover the ledger, trial balance, etc. We covered income statement. Then we looked at balance sheet. And then we also looked at cash flow statement, by the way. Did you realize we looked at cash flow statement? This particular thing that we were looking at, the cash payments and the cash receipt. The cash payment and the cash receipt, this was the cash flow statement. So we did look at cash flow statement, we did look at income statement, we did look at balance sheet. And then initially it was 20,000 of asset equal to 12,000 of liabilities and 8,000 of equity. And now the asset becomes 20,100, the liability has gone down by 1,000 and the equity has increased by 9,000, increased by 1,100 to 9,100. So the equation is still matching. The equation needs to be matched because the name of the balance sheet is balance sheet. So the both side needs to get balance. All right. I repeat the things that we discussed from the last lecture, the incremental things, new things that we discussed today. Return earnings from the last lecture may increase kiya tha, but I just changed the value this time. So return earning and hence equity got increased by 1,100. Next, we calculated the cash payments and the cash receipts. There was a cash payment for cost of goods sold. There was a cash payment for cost of goods unsold. There was a cash payment for SGA. There was a cash payment for interest. There was a cash payment for tax, dividend, and there was a cash payment for principal. ये सातों का total आ रहा था 8,700. Okay. Then we looked at cash received from the customer, which was 800 customers को हमने बेचा था $10 का Parle G. 800 into 10, 8,000. So we received cash of 8,000, but the payment was 8,700. So we lost $700 of cash. And the reasons why this company, which was profitable, it was, I think, making some $15, $60 of profit. Why it couldn't generate cash? Because in the profit, 3 costs were not considered. I'm not saying cost. 3 things were not considered. One was cost of unsold goods was not considered. Second one was principal payment was not considered. And dividend payment was not considered. After considering that, the profitable company was converted into a cash loser company. Okay. And then whatever was the cash loss, it was, I think, 700. So we reduced the cash by 700. Then we focus about the loan. The loan was being paid by 1,000. So 12,000 का जो loan था balance sheet में हमने उसको reduce किया by 1,000. So it became 11,000. And finally was about the cost of unsold goods, which is nothing but what is lying in your warehouse, the inventory. You produced 1,000, but how much you sold? You produced 1,000, you sold only 800. So the 200 remaining is your inventory. You invested in each biscuit of the warehouse $4. Each biscuit of the warehouse में आपने invest किया है $4. So 200 biscuits में 200 biscuits में you invested $800. So inventory is your investment, which is being put on the investment or asset side. So inventory went up by 800. So if I look at the investment side, cash was down by 700. Inventory was up by 800. So net down by 700, up by 800. Net. The asset side was up by 100. So 20,000 became 20,100. Liability side, the loan which you are liable to pay was 12,000 earlier. This time you paid thousands. The remaining loan outstanding would be 11,000. The equity, we already had increased it by 1,100. So 11,000 plus 9,100, share capital 8,000, and then the return earning 1,100. 9,100 plus 11,000 of liability makes it 20,100, which matches with the assets. All right. I hope you understood it. They has a doubt, and if anyone has doubt, just raise hand. Before proceeding further, income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow, because doubts are obviously apart from that mystery expense, if you have any doubts, just raise hand. And others, they can ask a doubt. Let me know whether the concept is clear or not. Yes, they go on.
Sir, we have to make this roughly, right?
Roughly, मतलब हमने fairly किया.
No, sir. No, there is a for making income statement and assets and liabilities. We have schedule 3 for from of the.
काफी डिटेल में जा रहे हैं हम लोग. ये अभी थोड़ा brief में कर रहे हैं हम लोग. But we didn't do anything rough. I mean, what you're saying is more detailed. The schedule 1, 2, 3, etc. We are not going into the schedules right now. This was the brief of the foundation for the science and engineering background students.
Okay, and that cash flow statements. I know that was cash flow statements. Everything was we calculation. I was just asking that for cash flow statements, we have to go by AS3.
Okay, I mean, your BAF background, BCom background is करना है अपना.
Sorry,
I mean, what's your graduation background?
CA Inter.
Exactly. So that's the reason you are asking these questions. I will take this question with you in person later on. This
Okay,
will be
okay.
little-
Sorry.
No problem. This will be little advanced question to answer right now for the science background students and the engineering background students. जिनके लिए ये चीज भी काफी नया. So if I go to AS3 etc., it will be a little confusing.
No. Actually, I was just asking because in India the accounting standards are a bit different than international ones.
Indian
Yeah.
accounting standards in ISO, yeah.
Yes.
But
So
anyway, we'll
that's
talk
why-
about it little later.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the response. 93%, and 2 guys are saying kind of clear. Anjali, I think you mentioned kind of clear. Let me know your doubt.
Sir, these unsold goods that is inventories. Can we say closing stock to this?
Yes. So again, I believe you will be from the commerce background because you use a very technical word, closing stock. So yeah, that's right, closing stock.
So these both are these two are same.
Okay. Yes. So I would request the commerce guy students not to harass the engineering guy students, because in the last 3 lectures, engineers and science background students were very decent on you. I mean, foundation to maths lecture was a very kind of cakewalk for them. So they were considerate with you. So it's your turn to be considerate with them. So if you use a very accounting jargons like accounting standard, IAS, GAAP, IFRS, schedule, it will go above their head. So give them some time. Like they give you a considerate time. They didn't bother you with a lot of jargons from science background, I mean mathematical background. So be considerate with them. I'll take these questions with you later on, but this is the foundation basic session to explain them various terms. All right, let's go ahead. I'm going to, so it's confusing for commerce students because using different words. Okay, Aditya. So which word is confusing? What is the word that confused you?
No, sir. I was just talking about that closing stock and all. So
Inventory. Yes, closing stock is inventory.
no, it's just an example, but it's like different from what we studied in our bachelor's. So
कैसे मतलब what is the other thing that you studied which is contrary to what I am right now covering?
so like in that income statement, they also covers depreciation, then
That's
interest.
what I'm saying. I'm not what I'm saying. You might have learned something extra, but whatever I have covered, I believe you wouldn't have learned anything contrary to that. You might have learned
No,
something
no, no.
extra. I'm pretty sure about it. Depreciation, amortization, you might have learned something extra. But I
Yes.
believe whatever I taught, you wouldn't have learned anything contrary to that. Like the
No,
words
sir, no,
closing
sir.
stock and inventory.
It's not like that. No, sir.
So
It's not like
what I'm covering right now. I'm going from very basic to what I'll be covering right now.
yes, sir.
All right, let's go ahead. Not all customers are good with you. Some customers are very good with you. Some customers are neutral with you, and some customers are bad with you. What am I talking? You'll get to know. Some customers are very good with you. They give you a advance. Even before delivery of the product, मतलब उनको बिस्किट deliver करने से पहले ही you would have received the cash in your account. So very good customers. Some customers are कि डोर पे जब भी आपका डिलीवरी बॉय आएगा, जब भी वो बिस्किट देगा, we will give him cash on the spot, cash on delivery. Neutral customers. Some customers are bad. वो डोर पे वो प्रोडक्ट लेते हैं, डिलीवरी लेते हैं, बोलते हैं कि मैं कहाँ भाग जा रहा हूँ, you know where do I stay, so I'll give you money in 4 days, 5 days, give me some credit period. हिंदी में उधारी. So some customers are really good with you. Before your delivery boy reaches the customer, the money is already credited in your account. Some customers are neutral. They tell ki whenever your delivery boy will come to deliver the product, we will give you the cash to the delivery boy. So delivery ke time cash payment, on the spot cash payment. And then some customers are a little bad with you. They tell to the delivery boy ki give the product, 4 or 5 days mein I'll be giving your money. Okay, so these are little bad customers. So let's see for each thing, how do we account for it? In this example, where I had said that I'm going to sell 800 biscuits to the customers for $10 each, I had assumed that the customers are neutral. Neutral मतलब वो advance में पैसा नहीं देते हैं, वो delay के साथ भी नहीं देते हैं, वो on the spot देते हैं. Okay, so like when we go to, let's say, a kirana shop, so at that time we paid on the spot. Okay, so basically on the spot payment was considered. Now I'll consider a bad customer first who gives you money with a delay. Okay, so let's see how does the thing changes when the customer is going to give you money with a delay. So we had sold 800 products to customer. To customers, and we were supposed to receive $8,000 from them. 800 into 10, $8,000 from them. Let me assume out of this 800 biscuits that we had sold, 750 biscuit का पैसा आ गया. 700 biscuits जो sell किए थे हमने, money has been received. And the 50 biscuits is to those bad customers जिनको हमने sell कर दिया है लेकिन पैसा आना बाकी है. The money is still to be received. So let's see how much money has been received. 750 biscuits had been sold at $10 each. So 750 into 10, 7,500 has been received. 7,500 has been received. And on the other hand, 50 customers ने अपना बिस्किट तो खाया है लेकिन उसका पेमेंट नहीं किया है. The 50 customers have eaten our biscuits but they have not yet paid, and each biscuit is costing $10, so $500 is still to be received. Okay, so $500 is still to be received. So abhi cash flow statement में थोड़ा change होगा because cash received was earlier considered as $8,000 and now the cash received will be revised to $7,500. So let's go back to the cash flow statement, and इसमें जो cash receipt था $8,000, now that will change, and the revised figure for the cash receipts would be $7,500. With that, the cash loss would be 7,500 receipts, 8,700 payment. The cash loss would be 1,200. Okay. So पहले हमने assume किया था कि सारे के सारे customers, 800 customers will pay us cash. So 800 to 10 cash receipt was 8,000. Now I'm saying only 750 customers will pay us. 750 into 10, 7,500 will be cash receipt, and hence the cash loss would be 7,500 minus 8,700. 1,200 would be the cash loss. So I'll go back, and now this time I am gonna work on this again. So the cash will be down by 1,200. Earlier it was down by 700, but now the cash will be down by 1,200. So I'll go back over here, and now I made a change. The cash will be down by 1,200. So this is the change. बाकी इन्वेंटरी में तो कुछ चेंज होने वाला नहीं है, लेकिन ये जो 50 कस्टमर से, सॉरी, ये जो 50 कस्टमर से 500 रुपया आना बाकी है, this 50 customers from whom we have to receive $500, 10 into 50, $500 is our investment. We have trusted our customers and thereby we have invested in our customers. If the customers backstab us, it's like investment giving us losses. So basically when you invest into share and share price crashes, it's like you made a losses. Similarly, over here, by selling the biscuits to the customers, by delivering the biscuits to the customers and not collecting money from them, you have indirectly invested your trust with the customer. If customer backstabs you by not paying, it's like a loss on your investment. So this 50 are not unsold biscuits, this 50 biscuits sold but money not received, that $500 of money not received is your investment. It's your trust that you have invested in the customer. If customers don't pay you that $500, it's the loss of your investment. So this $500 is your investment, and this is a money to be received. Money to be received is also called as account receivable. So basically on the investment side, there would be another investment which would be called as AR, called as account receivable, which will increase by $500. This is nothing but the money to be received from the customers to whom you have delivered the product. To 750 customers, you have delivered the product and you already received money from them. But to the remaining 50 customers, you have delivered the product, but unse 500 रुपया आना बाकी है, unse 500 रुपया receive करना बाकी है. $500 is to be received from them. $500 is account receivable. Many commerce textbooks call this figure as sundry. I don't know sundry kahan se word hai. Sundry I think is petty or something. I don't know the English meaning of the word sundry. Sundry debtors. So account receivable is also called as debtors. But some textbook of commerce call it sundry debtors. I would be very happy if some commerce guy tells me the meaning of what is sundry. Sundry, is it sundry or is it sundry? SUNDRY. Many commerce textbook call it sundry debtors. Debtors ka matlab hai the customers who have eaten your product, to whom you have already delivered the product, but money is to be received from them. Money is to be received from them. Money is receivable from them. So it's called as account receivable, called as sundry debtors. So what is the meaning of the word sundry? Sundry is miscellaneous. Anusha says that. Okay. So sundry might be Latin or Greek word. I don't know. Maths is actually all Latin and Greek. So I don't know from where the background of account is coming from. I hope it's nothing to do with sundry. Sundry, I think would be, I don't know the origin of the word sundry, where is it? But we can call it debtor. Debtor is a customer जिसने आपका product खाया है, लेकिन आपको पैसा नहीं दिया. You are going to receive money from him. The money is receivable from him. It's account receivable. Let's see whether the balance sheet balances now or not. So 20,000. Okay, the 20,000 was the original thing of assets. 20,000. Cash went down by 1,200, so minus 1,200. Other assets are unchanged, so I'll not change it. It's unchanged. Inventory goes up by 800, and this account receivable goes up by 500. Comes to the same 20,100. I'll show it one more time. It was 20,000. उसमें से cash गया 1200 का, 1,200 का cash गया. Then inventory increased by 800, and account receivable has increased by 500. So this is how you got the 20,100, and there's no change on this 11,000 and 9,100 because इसमें हमने कुछ change नहीं किया. The loan remaining is 11,000 and return earning is still up by 1,100. So this comes to the little important point कि भले हमने customer से 500 रुपया receive नहीं किया. Although we have not received 500 rupees from customer, but still we recorded that in the sales. If you see our income statement, in the income statement, we are still recording it as 8,000. Although the cash received is only 7,500. Cash received was only 7,500, but we are recording the sales of 8,000. Which means the sales is recorded when you deliver the product, and either you might have collected money or you might have trust on the customer that they will not default. I repeat, sales record करने के लिए cash receipt होना is not a must. Delivery is a must. You have to deliver the product, and after delivery you might have received cash. Let's say you received 7,500 ka cash, and remaining 500 was a trust that you had on the customer. So basically, although you might not have received all cash, that's fine. As long as you have trust in the customer, you are allowed to record the sales. This is not just in US, it's also there in India. For sales recording, cash receipt is not mandatory. You're allowed to record the sales, although you might not have received 100% cash. Here you sold $8,000 of product, but you received 7,500 ka cash. But you are allowed to record complete $8,000 of sales, although $500 ka cash was not received, because you had a trust on the customer that they will not backstab you, they will not default on you. Okay, so this is the first thing. Any doubts on this? Account receivables is a money which is to be received from a customer who has consumed your product but not yet received money from him or her. Money is still receivable from him, and hence it's called as account receivable or debtor. Debtor is a customer who has consumed your product but not yet paid you. You're still to receive money from him. The money is still receivable from him. Any doubts? Raise hand if you have any doubts. If it is clear, let me take a poll. Yes, Anjali.
Sir, how 1200 came?
Cash payment kitna tha?
700.
No. 8,700. Cash payment was 8,700. वो
Yeah, 8,700
remember, cost
minus
of goods sold,
8,000.
cost of unsold goods, interest, tax, SGA, principal payment, and dividend.
Yeah, I remember.
8,700 था. Cash receipt
8,700
कितना था?
less receipts 8,000.
7,500. The revised cash receipt was 7,500.
7,500. Yeah, got it.
7,500
Got it, sir.
receipt, payment 8,700, 7,500 minus 8,700, cash loss of 1,200.
Yeah, got it, sir.
I request everyone to vote. Two guys have not voted. I hope you're not dozing off in front of your PC. 28 guys have voted. One guy is not voted. Fine. So good. 100% of you. How it coming 104%? Some mistake. 100% of you have understood it. Good. All right. So we give a credit period to the customer. Why so? Because if we don't give a credit period to customer, some other competitor of us will give a credit period to the customer, and then we may lose the customer. So many businesses offer a credit period to the customer because they know that if they don't offer a credit period, someone else will offer a credit period, and hence the customer would be lost to a competitor. So many people ask me, why do we offer? Why are we so good with the customer? कि अगर हम deliver कर रहे तो on the spot पैसा क्यों नहीं मांग रहे? Because if you ask for money on the spot, customer may go to your competitor who might be offering a credit period. So in an effort not to lose the customer to your competitor, you offer some credit period to the customer. All right. So like you offer a credit period to your customer to pay you, similarly, the supplier will offer you a credit period. Remember, your suppliers are the advertising agency जो आपका advertising करने वाला है. तो वो जो आपका supplier है, और बाद में कुछ raw material supplier भी हो सकता है, जैसे Parle G के लिए sugar, let's say Renuka Sugar was supplying sugar to Parle G. तो Renuka Sugar may not ask for upfront payment. They may say कि you consume the sugar, after 15 दिन पैसा दे देना. We trust you, your Parle G, so you are a very trustworthy company, so we trust you. So 15 days बाद you can make a payment to us. So जैसे Parle G is given the credit period to its supplier, to its customer. Similarly, the supplier of Parle G will also give a credit period to the company. So over here, let's talk about the total COGS as well as the total cost of unsold goods. We manufactured, sorry, not thanks so much. I mean, not thanks so early. We manufactured 1,000 biscuits at a cost of $4 each. So the total cost was $4,000. Some of this $4,000 could be going for labor. Some of it could be going for raw material. Some of it could be going for MSCB, electricity, etc., etc., etc. तो उसमें से सपोज करते हैं जो रॉ मटेरियल वाले को पेमेंट है आउट ऑफ 4,000, दैट्स 1,000. So $1,000 is a payment out of $4,000, which is the total cost incurred. Yes, I know इसमें से 3,200 was cost of goods sold and $800 was inventory or cost of unsold goods. The total cost incurred in manufacturing the biscuits was $4,000, which consists of labor cost because you cannot manufacture biscuits without labor. As of now, वो robots का system India में आया नहीं है. But till the time the robots come in the factory, you still require laborers. So labor के बिना biscuits नहीं बनेगा. Raw material के बिना biscuits नहीं बनेगा और MSCB के बिना biscuits नहीं बनेगा. So basically वो conveyor belt को run करने के लिए MSCB का electricity चाहिए. वो raw material रखने के लिए labor चाहिए और उसके लिए raw material भी चाहिए तो उसके लिए supplier चाहिए. So the cost of production $4,000 is bifurcated into cost of labor, cost of raw material paid to the supplier, and the electricity cost. Usme se I am focusing on the raw material cost. Let's say that is $1,000, and your raw material supplier was Reduka Sugar. I think everyone who know this company, Reduka Sugar. How many are aware about this company? I think it's called as Sri Renuka Sugar. How many are aware about this company? This company ka share price has taken a lot of hit. Okay, I know Anusha will know it surely. But apart from Anusha, only Mayur knows it. Okay, Prerit knows it. Okay, fine. So I thought this is a very famous company which many of you would know. Okay, no problem. Okay, so Renuka Sugar has a trust on us, and hence they said कि आपका total bill हुआ है $1,000 का. All the raw materials that we have supplied to, which we have supplied to you, उसका bill है $1,000 का. But we trust you, तो आप सिर्फ हमें $100 का पेमेंट करो. You just pay cash of $100, and बाकी $900 हम भूल नहीं जा रहे, but you pay us आराम से, pay later. Okay, so you require us to pay just $100 right now, and $900 you can pay later. Okay, so this is a revised thing. Let's see इससे cash flow statement पे क्या effect होता है. So in the cash flow statement, the cash payment should be now going to be reduced. The पहले वाला जो अपना total cash payment था वो कितना था? ये 1000 छोड़ के ये labor और MSCB में कोई फर्क नहीं है. तो labor और MSCB, labor plus MSCB plus raw material supplier together was 4,000. तो labor plus MSCB was 3,000 and raw material के लिए it was 1,000. So together it was 4,000. Okay, this was the situation earlier. I'll show it to you. This 800 and this 3,200, this was coming to 4,000. और ये 4,000 का दूसरा breakup था. Labor plus MSCB 3,000 and Renuka Sugar raw material supplier 1,000. So together 3,000 plus 1,000, 4,000. So this was the breakup of that. Okay. And now जो payment है $1,000 का, वो $1,000 का नहीं रहा. The payment is now just $100. So the total payment to the suppliers and the labor MSCB will now be 3,100. It won't be 4,000 anymore. It's going to be 3,100. Okay, so let's go back. And ये जो 4,000 था, total payments for the goods that we are selling as well as unsold goods now becomes 3,100. मतलब जो payment है 900 से कम हो रहा है. The payments are reducing by 900. So this 8,700 will no longer be 8,700 because the payment of 4,000 is down to 3,100. So the 8,700 would be down by 900 because 4,000 की जगह 3,100. So payments are becoming lesser by 900. So 8,700 will now become 7,800. 8,700 minus 900 becomes 7,800. With that, Anjali, can you tell me what would be the cash gain or cash loss?
There is a cash gain.
Yes, sir. Look, cash
Because payment is less and receipt is more.
How come receipt is more? Look at the receipts.
No, sorry, sir. Loss by 300.
Wonderful. All right. The cash receipts are 7,500. The cash receipts are 7,500 and the cash payments are 7,800. With this 7,500 minus 7,800, there is a cash loss of 300. So now cash will go down by 300. Okay, so now let me go back to the balance sheet and let me change the balance sheet now. So cash will not be going down by 1,200. Cash will be going down by 300. All right. Now tell me, जो हमने रेणुका शुगर का $100 पे किया, डिड रेणुका शुगर वेव द $900 से कि वी ट्रस्ट यू तो $900 भूल जाओ? नहीं. They told us that you pay us $100 right now and $900 you can pay us later. Which means Parle-G, that is your company, is liable to pay $900 to the supplier. I repeat, the company is liable to pay $900 to the supplier. If suppose company ने हाथ खड़े कर दिए, we can't pay you $900. If company raises and says that we will not pay you $900, then the Renuka Sugar will have a legal protection. Renuka Sugar can show that bill to the court and can file a legal case against the company for non-payment of the bill. The bill is $1,000, सिर्फ $100 pay किया है, $900 the company is liable to pay to the raw material supplier. So this $900 would be a liability, and hence on the balance sheet it will be shown under the column of liability. The bill was $1,000, but company was given an option just to pay $100. So company just paid $100. Remaining $900, company is still liable to pay. I repeat, remaining $900, the company is still liable to pay. So this $900 will be shown under the column of liability. So under the column of liability, that is under this column, there will be $900 shown. All right. So यहाँ पे you are required to pay. पहले वाले केस में you were supposed to receive money from the customer. 50 customers ने आपको पैसा नहीं पे किया था, so you were supposed to receive $500 from the customer. But in this case, you are required to pay. You are liable to pay $900. $900 you are liable to pay. $900 is payable, and in this $900 is called as account payable. Okay, so this $900 is called as account payable. Many commerce textbooks also call it as creditor, sundry creditor. Again, sundry, as Anusha and one more guy, Prerit, I think told me that it's miscellaneous, so ignore that word. It's creditor. Okay, so when raw material supplier is gentle with you, bill hota hai ₹1,000 ka, but he asks you to pay only 100. The $900 which you are liable to pay to him, that $900 which you are liable to pay to him is your account payable, also called as creditor. And when you are gentle with the customer, you tell to the customer ki biscuit khao, baad mein aaram se paisa do. When you are gentle with the customer, there is a money to be received from the customer. The money is receivable from the customer is called as account receivable, and the customer is called as debtor. The credit customer is called as debtor. Credit customer matlab udhar wala customer. The udhar wala customer is called as a debtor. Money is supposed to be received from him, so it's called as receivable, money receivable. All right. And when you have to pay $900 to your raw material supplier, Renuka Sugar, jiska bill tha $1,000, but you happen to pay only $100, the $900 which you didn't pay, you are liable to pay that. So that's called as account payable, also called as creditor. So Renuka Sugar is your creditor. Okay. So let's see whether the balance sheet is balancing or not. Because that's important. Balance sheet should balance. Let's look on the asset side. Starts with 20,000. So it starts with this 20,000. Let's start with 20,000. Cash is down by 300, so minus 300. All other assets में कोई change नहीं है. Inventory up by 800. And account receivable is up by 500 क्योंकि 500 customer ने आपको बोला है, not 5,000. 500 customers have told you कि हम पैसा बाद में दे देंगे. So the total will be 21,000. I'll show it one more time. 20,000 was the original assets. Cash down by 300. All other assets में कोई change नहीं है, लेकिन inventory is up by 800 and account receivable, which is also called as debtors, is up by 500. Okay, so that comes to 21,000. So it's no more 20,100. It's 21,000. Okay, let's look at the liability side. Liability was originally 12,000. The original liability was 12,000. उसमें से हमने $1,000 का प्रिंसिपल पे कर दिया, so minus 1,000. And but still we are liable to pay that 900 क्योंकि हमने बिल में से सिर्फ $100 का पे किया. $900 का बिल is still payable, so we are liable to pay that $900. So plus $900. So the liability now becomes 11,900. So this liability would be 11,900. Okay, so the assets are 21,000. The liability is 11,900. And equity में कोई change नहीं है. So if you add it, you will get the same 21,000. It will match the balance sheet. All right. So money which is to be received from a udhar wala customer is called as money to be received, account receivable, also called as debtor. And the money which you are required to pay, the money which you are liable to pay to your supplier is called as account payable. Okay, just keep that in mind. Okay. ये जो account receivable है, the money to be received from your customer. आप customer को कितना पीरियड दोगे? 10 दिन का या 10 साल का? After eating the biscuits, how much time will you give to the customer to give you money back? I mean, to pay you money? 10 days or 10 years? Simple question. In the chat section, put the answer, please. How much time, how much credit period you will give to the customer? 10 days or 10 years? Obviously, 10 days. That means the $500 which you have trusted on the customer, वो $500 10-15 दिन में आने वाला. That $500 will be received by you in 10-15 days, and hence it's called as a current investment. ऐसा नहीं कि वो 10 साल के बाद पैसा आने वाला है. From that investment, $500 will be coming to you in 10-15 days, and hence that account receivable, that debtor is called as current investment. Similarly, जो inventory में हमारा $800 का cost invested है, remember 200 biscuits were there in inventory और हर एक biscuit में $4 का cost invested था. ये जो $800 का cost हमने inventory में invest किया है, वो हम next year बेचेंगे and will collect the money from the customer. So that investment of $800 would also be getting materialized. That means would be getting converted into cash in the next year, and hence that's also your current investment. So two things we just saw in the current investment. One was the raw material जो हमने already पहले देखा था, और दूसरा हमने अभी देखा वो जो inventory and account receivable. Why account receivable is a current investment? Because you had invested your trust on the customer that customers will pay you, customers won't backstab you. So it was your trust that was invested, and you will give a credit period of 15-20 days to the customers only, and hence after 15-20 days you will get your money back, and hence it's a short-term investment. It's a current investment. Okay, so that's a current investment. Similarly, जो रेणुका शुगर ने आपको बोला कि $900 pay later, how later will you have to pay? 3 years, 4 years, या 10-15 days? Simple, 10-15 days. कोई भी आपको 3-4 साल का इतना लंबा क्रेडिट पेड कोई देगा नहीं. So to the Renuka Sugars, you are liable to pay the money in the next 10-15 days. Out of bill of 1,000, you have paid 100. 900 is still due. So that 900 which is still due, you have to pay that. You are liable to pay that in the next 15-20 days. So you are liable to pay that in the short term. So it's a short-term liability, also called as current liability. Ashish, can you tell if I am able to pay that 900 after 15 days, who am I? If I'm able to pay that 900 in the next year,
Hello?
who am I?
Hello.
Yeah, Ashish.
Sorry, sir, I can't hear you.
I'm saying
Hello?
that the bill from Renuka Sugars for supplying the sugar was $1,000, out of which you paid $100, so 900 is still payable, and that 900 will be payable in next 15 days. If you are in a position to pay $900 in the next 15 days, who are you? Okay, others can put that in the chat section, or others can raise hand actually if you are able to get to that term. All right, Prerit, who are you?
Liquid, sir.
Wonderful. You will be liquid. Is that clear, Ashish? If you are able to pay short-term liabilities when they are due, you are liquid. Ashish? Okay. Correction lost. All right. And वो जो loan है, remember वो जो loan है, 12,000 का loan है, वो long term का loan है, 12 साल तक pay करना है. तो if I'm able to pay that 12,000 का loan in the next 12 years, हजार करके एवरी ईयर 1000 करके, अगर मैं 12 साल में वो 12,000 का लोन पे कर पा रहा हूँ, इफ आई एम इन अ पोजीशन टू पे 12,000 रुपीज का लोन इन द नेक्स्ट 12 years, then who am I?
If you are able to pay loan, long-term loan.
Yes.
Right. That exact term I can't recollect.
Okay, Jinal, who am I? Sorry, Rudansh, who am I?
Solvent.
Wonderful. So if you are able to pay short-term liability, that is $900 of bill to your Renuka sugar supplier, then you would be liquid. And if you are able to pay 12,000 rupees ka long-term loan to the bank from whom you have borrowed 12,000 rupees ka long-term loan, if you are able to pay that 1,000 for the next 12 years, if you are able to pay that, you are solvent. Dave, is that clear? Just raise hand if it is clear to you. Dave, is it clear? All right, wonderful. All right. So this was the foundation to accounts part 2. Before closing, I'm going to tell you that mystery expense. The mystery expense is called as depreciation expense or amortization expense. अब ये जो word है depreciation expense, that's little different from the economic meaning of the word depreciation. ये पेन depreciate हो रहा है, ये बिल्डिंग depreciate हो रहा है. What does that mean? ये पेन depreciate हो रहा है, ये बिल्डिंग depreciate हो रहा है, इसका मतलब है ये बिल्डिंग, ये पेन का मार्केट वैल्यू is going down. Depreciation, economic depreciation means reduction of market value. So the market value of a particular thing is depreciating. You say the there is an economic depreciation happening. So when suppose you got the laptop for 50,000, and maybe 1 year later you see the same laptop on the Flipkart for 30,000. Then in 1 year the value of the laptop has gone down by 20,000. So that's the economic depreciation of 20,000. Accounting depreciation is slightly different. Economic depreciation is reduction of market value. Accounting depreciation is slightly different. Accounting depreciation is जो लैपटॉप के लिए आपने कॉस्ट इनकर किया, कितना कॉस्ट इनकर किया? 50,000 का. That 50,000 cost will be spread across the life of the laptop. I repeat, the 50,000 cost of the laptop would be spread across the life of the laptop. So for example, laptop will have a life of 5 years. Then 50,000 cost of the laptop would be spread across the 5 years life of the laptop, which will give you 10,000 allocation every year. That 10,000 allocation of the cost every year is what is called as depreciation expense. I repeat, this is accounting depreciation. Economic meaning of depreciation is reduction in the market value. So you bought this Pixel for, I think I bought it for some 48,000. And 1 year later, I checked the value of the Pixel 2 on the Flipkart. It was some 37,000. Abhi I think Pixel 2 cost 25,000 mein mil raha hai. So let's say 25,000. So I got it for 48,000. Now it's available for 25,000. There's a reduction in the value by 23,000. That's economic depreciation. Accounting depreciation is ये मैंने mobile Pixel 2 I got it for 48,000, and let's say this is going to last for 4 years. In 48,000 allocated over 4 years, 48,000 divided by 4, 12,000, 12,000, 12,000, 12,000, 12,000 in year 1, 12,000 in year 2, 12,000 in year 3, and 12,000 in year 4. That allocation of the cost of the machine over the life of the machine, that is what is called as depreciation. Depreciation is the cost of allocation of a machine over the life of the machine. Now you may ask me, ki you paid 48,000 at t equal to 0. Then why aren't you recording the 48,000 as an expense in year 0? Why are you splitting that 48,000 as 12,000, 12,000, 12,000, 12,000 in year 1, 2, 3, 4? I repeat, you paid for that mobile phone at t equal to 0, 48,000. Then why aren't you recording 48,000 as a expense in the income statement? Why are you allocating 12,000, 12,000, 12,000, 12,000 for the next 4 years? The answer is the mobile is going to be lasting for 4 years. Machine is going to be lasting for 4 years. So if machine is lasting for 4 years, with the help of machine, I'll be able to produce for the next 4 years. And with that, I'll be able to record sales in the next 4 years. Please note, although I have paid 48,000 in year 0, lekin machine would be working for the next 4 years. Machine would be helping me to produce in the next 4 years. There will be sales in the next 4 years. And hence, the cost of the machine is to be allocated in the next 4 years. It's not compulsory to allocate that equally. They say 12, 12, 12, 12. It's not compulsory to allocate that equally, but you have to allocate that as and when you are using the machine. As and when you are using the machine, you are producing, you are able to generate some sales. And as you are able to generate the sales, तो sales generate करने के लिए आपने जो machine use किया है, तो वो machine use करने के लिए जो आपने approximate cost calculate करोगे, that cost calculation is called as allocation. I understand that you are not paying any cost in the year 1. However, when you are using the machine in the year 1, the quality of the machine becomes a little bit lower. So basically, there is some wear and tear in the machine. So basically in the year 1, because the use of the machine, the value of the machine, the quality of the machine gets wear and tear. So hence the cost is to be allocated over the life of the machine. Over the life of the machine, as you are using the machine, the quality of the machine, the efficiency of the machine is going down. And hence the cost that you paid needs to be allocated over the life of the machine. That allocation of the cost of the machine or the life of the machine is called as depreciation. Okay. Similarly, there's a word which is called as amortization, which is associated with not machine, but which is associated with certain right which you need to buy to make some products. So for example, suppose I'm going to make a corona vaccine. Okay, suppose Parle-G is going to make a corona vaccine. Very strange, but suppose अगर Parle-G is going to make a corona vaccine, तो corona vaccine का जो patent है, वो है SII के साथ. I think everyone knows what is SII now, and उनके product का नाम I think everyone knows it. And second company is Bharat Biotech, and उनके product का नाम everyone knows it. So SII and I mean Serum Institute of India, Covaxin is their patented copyrighted product. And Bharat Biotech patented copyrighted product is Covishield. So if Parle-G wants to make corona vaccine, they will have to buy patent either from Serum Institute of India or from Bharat Biotech. This patent will be purchased by Parle-G by paying some money to Serum Institute or to Bharat Biotech. This is the cost of the patent. ये जो patent होगा, that will give a right to Parle-G to make corona vaccine for the next, let's say, 4 years. So let's say for buying the patent, Parle-G paid 40,000 rupees to Bharat Biotech. So Bharat Biotech gave a right to Parle-G to make corona vaccine for the next 4 years. जिसके लिए Bharat Biotech ने to Parle-G they charge for 40,000 rupees. So Parle-G paid 40,000 rupees and bought a right to make corona vaccine for the next 4 years. So the cost of 40,000 ka, that would be spread across the next 4 years, could be equally like 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000. That allocation of the cost of a patent or a cost of a copyright across the life of the patent is what is called as amortization. So depreciation is also allocation, amortization is also allocation. But depreciation is an allocation of a cost of a machine, and amortization is an allocation of a cost of a copyright, patent, and a trademark. So that mystery expense is called as depreciation or amortization expense. Please note, for depreciation or amortization expense, no cash is being paid in that year. Cash was already paid in year 0 when that patent was acquired for 40,000 or that mobile was acquired for 48,000. So machine was acquired in year 0 for 48,000. At that time only the cash was paid. The patent was acquired in the year 0 for 40,000. At that time only the cash was paid. So in the year 1, 2, 3, 4, you are not paying any extra cost. You are simply allocating the cost of purchase over the life of the machine or over the life of the copyright. That is simply allocation. You are not paying any cost in the year 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the reason the depreciation and amortization is called as a non-cash expense. Okay, you don't pay any cash for that. So unlike cost of goods sold, जिसके लिए आपको पैसा pay करना है, cost of जो 7 thing. Remember cost of goods sold, cost of unsold goods, SGA, interest, tax, principal and dividend. इसके लिए हमने cash pay किया था, लेकिन depreciation के लिए will not pay cash because we already paid cash in year 0. Now it's simply getting allocated over the life of the machine. And his depreciation is, I had called it earlier as a mystery expense. It's a non-cash expense because the cash for that expense has already been paid in the year 0. All right, so that finishes with the foundation to accounts part 2. I'll take a doubt. Yes, Satya. Okay, there's some audio issue with Satya, I think so. He has unmuted, but I'm not able to hear him.
Sir, I missed.
Yeah,
Hello?
you're audible now.
Hello?
Yeah,
Sir,
go
I'm
on.
audible.
Yeah.
Sir, mistakenly, I did it.
I'm not able to hear you properly. Satya, you're not audible.
Sir, I did not click it deliberately. Mistakenly.
Okay, it was by mistake. Okay, no problem. All right, Jiten had asked me in the chat section ki he has seen depreciation on the asset side. That is not correct. The Jiten, you might have seen some balance sheet made depreciation on the asset side. That is not depreciation. That is something called as accumulated depreciation, which I'll talk about it in the normal lectures. I'm not talking about it in the foundation to accounts. So you won't see depreciation on the balance sheet on the asset side. You will see depreciation in the income statement, and you will see something called as accumulated depreciation on the balance sheet. Asset side में जो दिखता है वो accumulated depreciation है, वो depreciation नहीं है. Depreciation is what you see in the income statement. About accumulated depreciation, I'll talk about it in the normal lectures. Yes, Dev.
Sir, can you repeat about if we are able to pay in short term, what's that term called?
Liquid. If you are able to pay to Renuka Sugars after 15 days, then you are liquid. And if you are able to pay your long-term loan of 12,000, then you are solvent.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Or able to pay, no, not liable. If you can pay, if you can pay.
Legally liable to pay 900 rupees to Renuka Sugar because Renuka Sugar का bill था 1000, आपने pay किया 100, so 900 you are legally liable to pay in next 15 days. So if you are able to pay that, you are liquid. If you are unable to pay that, you are illiquid.
Yes, I'm writing. I'm just confirm that if you are अगर आप पैसा दे सकते हो, then only you are liquid, no, and solvent. If हम नहीं दे सकते,
it's about the long, your ability to pay the long term.
Yes, अगर आप दे सकते हो पैसा, then only these terms are used, no. If you are not able, then it's insolvent.
About short term liability, if you are able to pay that, you are liquid.
Yes.
If you are unable to pay that, you are illiquid.
Okay.
About long term liability, if you are able to pay that, you are solvent. If you are unable to pay that, you are insolvent.
Okay, got it. Thank you, sir.
Yes, Elsa.
Hello, sir. In the Renuka Sugar example, so there was a cash loss of 300. Sir, can you explain once more?
Simple tha. So, did you realize that a cash payment would be 7,800? You jo 8,700 tha, that will be 7,800. Did you realize that? ये 8,700 tha पहले याद है?
Yes, sir. उसमें से 900 less होगा ना?
So because the total payments which were 4,000 now becomes 3,100, so the payments become 900 lesser. So the total cash payment would be 900 lesser, so it becomes 7,800. And cash receipt was 7,500. So 7,800 was payment, receipt was 7,500. Cash will be going down by 300.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Sir, now I understood.
Pakka, is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
7,800, which are higher than receipt 7,500. So cash would be going down by 300.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, Adhanshu.
So does inflation play any role in depreciation and amortization?
Inflation doesn't play any role in the depreciation.
Okay, okay.
All right. And yes, Ashish.
So any one effect which is common in like income statement as well as cash flow as well as balance sheet?
Come again?
Any one effect which is common in all three statements like cash flow, income statement as well as balance sheet?
One thing which is common.
No, the effect which will be if will be seen in all the three statements.
Everything. जैसे if
Yeah.
I talk about sales, suppose if I talk about sales, जिसके लिए मुझे पैसा मिल चुका है, so that will go in the cash.
Okay.
And वो sales is going to affect in the net profit.
Yeah, right.
Net profit will go into the balance sheet as return earning.
Okay.
So sales is there in the income statement.
Right.
इससे profit पे फर्क पड़ेगा, तो profit से return earning पे फर्क पड़ेगा, so return earning in the balance sheet will change. And sales से जो आपको cash collection आया है, so that will affect your cash statement.
Okay. Yeah.
Is it
Got
clear?
it.
So basically everything will have effect on the all the three items together. Yes, Vignesh.
Sir, you mentioned about sundry debtors sometime before. So likewise, we can't give provisions for bad debts in the income
Provision for
statement.
bad debt थोड़ा अभी जल्दी हो जाएगा. But yeah, you're right. Provision for bad debt is nothing but that part of your trust which you believe is going to be backstabbed. So basically over here $500 were due from the customers, and if you believe कि 4 customer $40 का default करने वाले हैं, then that $40 is what is called as provision for bad debt. But normal lecture में discuss करते हैं, अभी थोड़ा जल्दी हो जाएगा इसमें.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Right, good. So basically what he was asking was about ki what if that $500 which was due from the customers, the debtors, what if you believe ki some customers may default? तो उसके बारे में क्या करना है, we'll discuss it in the normal lecture. But the word that he has used, right, is called as provision for bad debt, and also is something allowance for bad debt. But science background and engineering background students, थोड़े टाइम के लिए कान बंद कर देना. If you understood the last 2 sessions properly, then you have got a perfect foundation for the accounts, with the help of which your FRA subject will be a cakewalk. You will not be at a kind of a step back compared to the commerce guy students. You will be at par with them. Yes, they may know how to make the journal entries, ledger, trial balance, etc. Like some of them were asking, beach mein depreciation was asking. So I had asked him to please right now be a little bit patient, because I was going to cover the depreciation later on. Account receivable, account payable, ऐसे उनको कुछ words they might be knowing it little bit more, like Vignesh just now spoke about provision for bad debt, but leaving aside those terms, you are at par with them. So if you understood कि वो last lecture वाला income statement and अभी income statement to balance sheet and cash flow, how do we make it, then you are at par with the commerce guys. And commerce guys, if you understood the foundation to maths ka 3 sessions, you are at par with the engineers and the science background students. So yes, they may know something about d by dx, integration of x square. They might be knowing about matrices. They might be knowing about integration, limits, but that's all is not required in the CFA. What is required in the CFA was what the 3 basic things that I covered in the foundation to maths ke 3 sessions mein, with the help of financial calculator. So with these 2 sessions, I believe the engineers and the science background students will be now at par with the commerce guys for the subject of FRA, and for the subject of cons, I now believe that the commerce students who believe ki maths is my weakness. So that kind of a feeling that maths is a weakness, I believe 90% of that feeling, I hope at least should be over when you're able to use that financial calculator with those 3 sessions of foundation to maths. All right. Thank you so much, guys.